Hey guys, Gundamruss back once again. Well, welcome back to yet another video. This week I wanted to do a new topic, and this topic is what games do you have on your bucket list? So I want to talk about the games that you guys have had in your collection for a while, or games you've wanted to pick up, but yet for some reason you haven't got around to playing them, and just hear what your reasons are behind it. And I want to talk to you just about a couple of games that are high on my bucket list. They might come as a bit of surprise to you, I hope. But I thought this would be a really fun topic to discuss. Because, as my collection gets bigger, obviously the bucket list gets bigger as well. But there's been a number of games which I've been really meaning to get back into, and that I'm really hoping to complete this year, and hopefully once I do, I'll be able to, to show you guys that, and achieve that with you guys as well. So without further ado, let's get into this topic. So the first game on my bucket list is this game here, Final Fantasy 12. Now, I got this game on launch day. I was super excited. I didn't get it on midnight, so I picked it up during the day. And I was currently at my schooling. I was studying horticulture at the time, so with plants and that sort of thing. And I was at the class, and I had got this before I went to the course for that day, the lesson that was, and I was just itching to get home and play this. I hadn't really looked too much into the game. I heard that there was a new battle system, but that didn't bother me. I was like, oh man, I love Final Fantasy. I played Final Fantasy X religiously, and I was just so excited to get into this one. When I got home, I popped it in and got into it, and for some reason, this game just didn't grab me like the previous Final Fantasies did. I just couldn't get my head around the characters and the way the story was playing out, and just the whole different battle system as well, and how you go out and hunt animals and hunt monsters, that is. I just didn't really enjoy it. I tried my hardest, but I gave it a good 2 or 3 hours and I put it down. And then I was going to work, and some people were saying to me, Russ, you got to give it more of a go. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. And I was just like, I don't know. I just can't get into it for some reason. Well, a couple of days later, I just gave it another couple of hours, and I just couldn't get into it. So I put it down. Many years later, I found, this is a couple of years ago, a few people were posting up some recommendations on playing this game, and I thought, you know what, I want to get back into it. And I had begun to really enjoy this style of battle system with RPGs, where you get to run around and more or less be free and attack. And I popped it back in, and to my amazement, I really enjoyed playing it. It was refreshing. It felt good. It was a good game. I don't know what I was thinking back in the past. I think when you're so used to playing an RPG like Final Fantasy in a certain way, sometimes change is hard to adapt to. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. But again, I got to the point where I played 3 or 4 hours, and then I put it down and started playing something else. So this is definitely one game I really want to play, and I really want to finish, just so I can say that I finished Final Fantasy 12, and just know the story, and I've heard lots of great things about it. So I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I've heard a lot of my friends say it's great, and I need to finish it. So this is definitely one that's high up on my bucket list. Now this one's going to come to a surprise for you guys. Again, RPG, but The Witcher 3. Now, I know this game is amazing, and I know it's graphically gorgeous, and the story is great, but I don't know, it just kind of scares me, this game. It's the whole fact that it's like 80 or 90 hours, and then you add the expansion packs, which I've got I think it's called the Heart of Stone expansion pack, and I know there's another expansion that came out as well, which I will pick up. But just the amount of time you have to put in this game scares me. One day I will get back into playing this game. I know I will. I've played a couple of hours of this, and it seems to be a bit of common, sort of thing. If a game doesn't grab me in the first couple of hours, sometimes I do tend to put it down a little bit. I guess you could say that with anything. It's kind of like when you're reading a book and you just can't get into it in the first initial few chapters. But yeah, I really want to dedicate some time to this game when I've got the time. So I think later in the year, I'm planning to take some, a large chunk of holidays, probably around the October, November period. And that's when I really think I'll definitely settle into playing this game and play it, a good 5 or 6 hours a day, fingers crossed, and really get into it and finish it. I hate, trying to jump into a game which is so large like this and just not have the time to, continue on with the story, quite regularly. I tend to, if I leave a game for too long, sometimes some of the story might get a little bit lost, and then I come back into it and I was like, what happened again? Oh, that's right. So, yeah, definitely, this is my number 2 game on my bucket list to hopefully complete this year. Let me know, you guys, below if it's one of your games you still need to complete. Now, this next game is for the PlayStation Vita. I absolutely adore my PlayStation Vita. It's one of my favourite handhelds, and I spend a lot of time playing it. This game here is on my bucket list, and that is Demon Gaze. Now, for those who don't know, it's a really cool, 2D art style dungeon crawler game. And if again, for those guys that don't know, dungeon crawler games can be very challenging, and this one here proved that to me, definitely. It was one of my, I'm kind of embarrassing to say, but it was one of my very first sort of dungeon crawler games to play. I'd always see them and be really interested in playing them, but I never really had a true dungeon crawler game, and it was mainly for the fact that, whenever I saw the dungeon crawler games, especially on the PS1 and that sort of thing, there would be like another game that would be out at the time, or they'd be very expensive. So when I heard there was a lot of dungeon crawler games for the PlayStation Vita, I was really excited, and this was one of my very first dungeon crawler games I really got into. And I heard that the difficulty for dungeon crawlers gets quite, rapid at times, and it can get very hard, and you've got to make sure that you take your time, and you make sure you level your characters up correctly and that sort of thing, because you can get yourself to a point where there's almost no return, you get really stuck in that sort of thing. And that kind of happened to me with this game. I got about 8 to 10 hours in, and I was progressing quite well, and then all of a sudden it was just like bang, getting hit with like a brick in the head. The difficulty just ramped straight up, and yeah, I still managed to get through quite slowly. I just died a hell of a lot, but it kind of, after a while, I just was like, man, I've got to give this game a rest, because it was just frustrating me. I just kept dying, and I had to keep going back, heaps fire and that sort of thing. So yeah, I really do want to get back into playing Demon Gaze. It is a fantastic game. It's got a great storyline, great graphics, really enjoy the characters, really enjoy the enemies in the game as well, and it's just a really good tight game with some great music, and just overall a really good game. So yeah, for those that have PlayStation Vita, I highly recommend getting this if you're into dungeon crawlers or want to get into the dungeon crawler sort of style game. I heard for dungeon crawlers this is actually quite an easier one, so it might be good for someone like myself who was a beginner to dungeon crawlers getting in this one. Now, this is the last game I'm going to show you, and it's definitely not the last game on my bucket list. There's plenty of games on my bucket list, but this is one I definitely want to complete this year, and that's Pokemon Sun. I've got both copies of the Pokemon Sun and Moon, but this is the one I'm playing mainly at the moment, and I've absolutely loved Pokemon since the day I first saw it growing up, and seeing that first cartoon come onto a program called Cheese TV. For my Australian viewers, you'd know what that's like. And yeah, I was just drawn to Pokemon. I love Pokemon, and to this day I still do. And sometimes I feel like I'm being a bit kiddish when I'm still into Pokemon sort of stuff. But you know what? I don't care what anyone thinks anymore. Past all that sort of stuff, that stage. I love Pokemon, always will. Even if I'm, 100 years old, if I ever get to that, I'll still be kicking the Pokemon style stuff. So hopefully Pokemon's still around at that stage. I've fingers crossed it will be. But yeah, I picked this game up and really, really enjoyed it. I hadn't played a Pokemon game for a little while, and it was just really refreshing to jump back into the Pokemon video game, seeing that I hadn't played since probably the early DS titles. So this was really my first real go at a 3DS sort of version. I was really impressed with how the graphics had evolved with the game, and I just loved the way it was like set in that Hawaii sort of island sort of area. One of my bucket list countries to go to, or sort of places to go, that is Hawaii. So it's really fun to be able to play in that sort of environment with the Pokemon game, and I just love how different Pokemon have a different different form. Well, especially like things like Rattata and all that sort of thing. And yeah, I've really wanted to get back into this, but I tried to do it a few weeks ago and played a good 4 or 5 hours. But then other games came back out. So obviously, being Horizon Zero Dawn, I was playing the new Pac-Man sort of championship game on the PS4 as well. So a few other games got in the way, which often at times can be a little bit of a pain in the bum. But yeah, looking forward to getting back into playing Pokemon Sun. Absolutely love Pokemon. Well, there we have it, guys. That was a number of games which are in my bucket list. As I said to you earlier in the video, I'd love to hear from you guys what games are in your bucket list. If you want to do a response video to this, by all means, please do. I'd love to see that. As always, leave me a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, fools. See you later.